Hello, my name's Andrew. I'm a music producer and a long-term anxiety sufferer. Each week I will be uploading a video to this channel, Anxious Andrew, talking all things anxiety. Today I'm talking about anxiety in the supermarket. Have you ever experienced crippling anxiety at the supermarket? Perhaps you avoid the supermarket for fear of having a panic attack. For a lot of people, trips to the supermarket are just an inconvenience, or at their very, very worst, plain old boring. But for someone suffering from anxiety, they can become an absolute nightmare and can even feel impossible. If you can relate to this, or if this sounds interesting to you, then please subscribe to my channel and stick around for the video. A fear of going to the supermarket will almost always start with an initial panic attack. If you have one isolated panic attack at the supermarket, this could lead to having another panic attack in the supermarket and another one. And if these panic attacks become regular enough, you'll soon learn that the supermarket is a dangerous place and somewhere to be avoided. Thinking about the supermarket in this way will put you on edge and increase the chances of having another panic attack next time you go. Supermarkets can be a very claustrophobic environment. You'll almost always have a single entrance and exit at the beginning of the store. This means that if you're at the other end of the store, it can take several minutes to escape from the supermarket. You might put a lot of pressure on yourself when you're shopping, and you might be thinking to yourself, well, if I'm scared to do this, what will I be scared to do next? Access to a toilet can be a problem, especially if you're like me and you suffer with IBS. I feel like I always need to be near a toilet. If every time you go to the supermarket your anxiety levels go up, then your need to use a toilet will also go up. Social anxiety could be a problem. When you're shopping, you may have to interact with customers, and you'll definitely at some point have to interact with someone that works at the supermarket on the checkout or on a counter or something. Queuing can cause a lot of anxiety. If it's very busy, there might be 3 or 4 people waiting for the checkout. So you have to stand in this queue for a long time, and then when it comes to loading your items onto the conveyor belt, that can bring back that claustrophobic feeling because you're sort of trapped on this conveyor belt with people in front of you and people behind you. Getting to and from the supermarket can be a problem. If catching the bus or getting in your car causes you anxiety, then you're going to be anxious going to the supermarket, you're going to be anxious whilst you're there shopping, and you're going to be anxious coming home again. This creates a very long stretch of anxiety that you need to endure. Something else that can add more pressure on the whole situation and more stress is if you're embarrassed to admit that you're scared of going. Keeping that secret inside creates more stress and even shame. Whenever I'm having a tough time with anxiety, I basically develop generalized anxiety disorder. So doing anything at all is anxiety provoking. I was having daily panic attacks. I would wake up sometimes having a panic attack, or have them randomly throughout the day or in the night, or doing anything at all. So obviously the thought of going to the supermarket, the stress of going to the supermarket, and the headache of going to the supermarket became sort of too much. When I'm really anxious, I feel nauseous, and because I am scared of being sick anyway, and I particularly don't want to have that feeling in a public place, that obviously puts me off going to the supermarket. I'm constantly thinking that I need to be close to home in case I'm sick, or in case I, sort of need to be sick. I found that going deep into the supermarket was particularly a problem, and I sort of always found that I needed to be near to the exit. So I was sort of okay in the fruit and veg aisle at the front of the supermarket, where I could escape very quickly. But if I was several aisles in, that would I would really start to feel that panic growing. I'm also, generally speaking, much too hard on myself, and so having panic attacks at the supermarket or struggling to get there, I would sort of flog myself and think, oh, you're such a wimp, this should be easy, what's wrong with you? Just pull yourself together. I'd be saying comments like that to myself, and so that just added more pressure onto an already pressurized situation. It's very easy, especially these days, to completely avoid going to the supermarket. You can do all your shopping online now, and you can either do a curbside pickup, or you can even have them deliver the food directly to your house. But doing this doesn't actually address your problem. You're simply running away from your anxiety. You're not fixing it, and if you don't fix it, it could lead to more problems and lead to you having anxiety in other areas, not just at the supermarket. Shopping like this is just a short-term fix and won't help you in the long run. Anything you can do to interact more with the world is going to help your anxiety. So it's worth going to the supermarket to do your shopping. Ultimately, you need to relearn that the supermarket is a safe place and is a safe environment for you to be in. The reality is, you are very safe and there isn't really anything to worry about. Supermarkets generally are just full of nice, normal people going about their daily lives. And in the nicest way possible, whilst it might feel like all eyes are on you, people might not have even noticed you. A very useful tool can be positive mental rehearsal. So the night before you go to the supermarket, or a few hours before you go, if you sit down and close your eyes and picture yourself in the supermarket, make it as vivid and specific as you can to the shop you're going to go to, and just think about being there and feeling relaxed and calm, and you're just casually walking up and down the aisles, selecting all the products you want, and nothing's stressing you out. This helps to counteract what you've probably subconsciously naturally been doing, which is negative mental rehearsal, where before you go to the supermarket, you're picturing how awful it's going to be and how stressed you're going to be and how last time you were there, you had a panic attack in this specific location. And when you go back to that specific location, it's going to happen again. You're trying to combat that subconscious negativity with conscious positivity. Another useful thing you could do is to keep a diary. So if every time you get home from the supermarket, just jot down how it went. How panicked did you feel? What anxious thoughts were you saying to yourself? If you keep doing this over a few weeks, hopefully you'll find a common thread and some anxious thoughts that keep reoccurring. Then when you're at home in a calm environment and feeling calm, you can write out some counter arguments to the anxious thoughts you're having. Then you can memorize those counter arguments. So hopefully next time you're in the supermarket and you have one of your anxious thoughts, you'll sort of already have a preloaded counter argument that you can say to yourself. Something that can be very difficult to get right is flogging yourself versus being too easy on yourself. This is tricky because it's so specific to you and only you will know whether you're flogging yourself too hard or if you're being too easy on yourself. If you're beating yourself up about it all and getting really down that you can't go to the supermarket, I would say that's being too hard on yourself. But if you're putting off going to the supermarket and just sort of ignoring the problem, then that's being too easy on yourself. And you're likely to fall into a pattern of avoidance. Every once in a while, you're going to just have a really bad day and your experience at the supermarket is just going to be terrible. These kind of setbacks can really knock your confidence and make you think that you're sort of back to square one. So it's good if you can try and label days like that or events like that as inevitable bumps in the road, rather than signs that you're getting worse or you're not making any progress. Another useful tool can be to share your problem and your experiences with a friend or a family member or a therapist. Sharing what you're going through will help to normalize your problem and make you realize that you're not crazy or weird. If you're ashamed of your problem, then the best way to get rid of shame is to hold it up to the light. If you can tell someone about your problem and they don't judge you harshly, then your shame will just fall away. Okay, that's it from me for now. Make sure you look out for more managing anxiety videos like this one in the future, because I'll be doing these as a series. If you want to get in touch with me about anything at all, please email anxiousandrewchannel@gmail.com. See you on the next one.